Hello, Year 5. So here's our maths video for today. The first video of the new half term and the new week. And this week, what we're looking at is division. But strangely, on the first day, on Monday, we're creating a multiplication grid. But it's going to be very helpful for us. Today's work is going to be helpful for us in the rest of the week when we do our maths. So we're starting off by making a tool for us to use. So let's have a look at our, let's make sure we've got there, and let's go, here we go. You see, I'm not very slick at the moment because I'm out of practice with my, here we go. And I don't want a new slide. I want to go to slideshow and I want to go to from beginning. There you go. That was very unslick. So our maths home learning for the 22nd of February is to create a multiplication square and to just think through multiples, factors and square numbers again, because we've done these. We did them one lesson per feature there, but we're going to just revise them today. That means we're going to look at them again just quickly. Okay, so what I want you to do to create a multiplication square. Okay, let's have a look at that. So you need to get a piece of paper. Now I would do this in pencil with a rubber close at hand because it's very easy to go wrong. If not, you might find yourself using several pieces of paper because it's gone a bit haywire. Okay, so what do? Well, you start off with a white piece of paper. Okay, and here's my whiteboard, very kindly given to me by my friend Sue because I had nothing to write on when I was making these videos. You need to get a straight edge. Okay, don't try and do it just by using your pencil and trying to draw really straight. Get a straight edge. You must have something at home which has a nice straight edge. Use that, please. Okay, and the first thing I want you to do underneath your date and title, your date and your learning objective, is to draw a straight line across, leaving room to write some numbers. Now that is not a straight line because I can't do it looking sideways at it. So I'm going to put it down on the computer and I'm going to draw a proper straight line across. Okay, taking my time to do it. Now that's what I want you to do. Okay, proper straight line across. Now I'm going to draw a straight line down. Now, if you've got a margin on your book, you don't really need to do this, or you could just go over it with your ruler. Okay, so I'm going to draw a straight line down, and will I learn from my mistakes? Let's see if I can do it straight, and if I can't, no, it's not perfect. It's not perfect, and I can't cope with things that aren't perfect. So I'm going to do it again on here. I can rest it there on my table so that I can make it much more perfect than that. That isn't more perfect than that because I'm not holding it, I'm rushing. So that's not more perfect. I'm going to do it slowly and carefully. Now, hopefully, seeing me doing this and seeing that I don't get it right first time, but the fact that I'm not happy with it until it is perfect will make you feel that you want to get going with, make sure that it's perfect before you keep going. Okay, so make your lines across and down on your piece of paper. Now then, draw a nice big multiplication sign in the corner there. Okay, and the next thing is not as easy as it sounds. I want you to write the numbers 1 to 10. If you have room, and writing with a pencil is a lot easier, write 1 to 12, please. I'm only going to try 1 to 10 because this is the second time I've done this, and I know that the first time I couldn't get further than 10. So I'm going to write on the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, you don't need me to say the numbers out for you. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, Miss Cooper, you've managed to fit 11 on. Okay, let's hope I haven't done them too closely together. I might find, and I'll tell you why, you might find that I've done them too closely together. Then I'm going to write the same numbers going down. Now, if you've got lines in your book, you will find this so much easier to keep it nice and straight. So I'm going down, writing the numbers. And if you're using plain paper, you need to be really carefully doing this to make sure they are evenly spaced. If you are Hamid and you have gone out and bought yourself a book with squared paper in it, thank you, Hamid, very much. Your work will be beautifully set out because you have squares to guide you. Okay, so there's my start at my multiplication square. Okay, now you've seen these 100 times before, so you know how to do it. The multiples that you're going to put on here are the times tables. So the multiples of 1 are 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to do these quite carefully or else you get them all bunched up, and that is no good at all. 8, 9, 10, and 11. And you could put 12 on the end if you had 12. So there are my multiples of 1. Remember, what your multiples are just the times tables, but they carry on and on and on. Okay, multiples of 2 now. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and 22. Okay, now be careful to keep them in a straight row. It's really important that you take your time and you write a very straight row across. If you want to draw a very pale line, go for it, okay? Because the 3s have got to be very carefully on that next row. So when 3s are 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Right, here we are. I can show you here. Look what has happened. Because I put my 5 and my 4 and my 6 too close together, look what's happened here. I've made 1, 2, 1, 5. Instead of making 12 and 15, I've shoved them together and they've become squashed together. Okay, now my 15 is too small. So let that be a lesson that I have found is a problem for me, and it will be a problem for you. If you don't spread your numbers at the top out carefully, leaving space between them, you will end up with all your multiples squashed together in a big long number. Okay, now I'm going to carry on with my multiples of 3, 15, 18, 21, and carry on and on. Then I'm going to do my multiples of 4. Then I'm going to do the multiples of 5. Remember, multiples is just a posh word for the numbers in the times tables, but they don't stop. Multiples carry on and on and on and on. Okay, so my multiples of 5 don't stop at 50, they carry on 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, and they carry on and on and on. They're all multiples. We choose to stop at either 10 or 12 because memorizing all of the rest of them would be too much. Okay, so I'm going to sit here now and I'm going to finish off my multiplication square. So I'm going to pause my video and I'm going to do that and write them all down. I want you to pause this video now and finish off your multiplication square before you start it again, okay? If you are green, then you can choose just to do this, okay, just to finish off the multiplication square. But I want you to come back when you've done it and just click back onto this video just for a moment to check it looks like mine does, okay, because that will be okay then, all right? So just check back in. Now I'm going to pause now whilst I finish off this number square, okay? And as if by magic, it'll all be done. Here we go, back again. So there we are, apart from the fact that I've just put my fingers on part of it. There we go, there's my multiplication square. Now I found that I had to start again and just write the numbers 1 to 10 at the top because I was just getting them too close together. Whereas now I can see 16, 20, 24, they don't all run into each other. So if yours all ran into each other, you have to do it again, I'm afraid. You have to do it again. You need to have one where you can see the numbers. So if you're green and this is all you're doing today, and yours looks like this, and it's as neat as this and as careful as this, that's it. You can stop the video and you can hand that work in. Take a photo and hand it in. If it is not neat like this, then do it again. Start again, okay? Learn from your mistakes the first time. That's what I had to do. I'd done it up to 11 and it didn't look right. So I rubbed it all out and I started again. You start again if it's not neat enough, please. All right. Okay. So the blues and the purples, you stay with me. Greens, if you've done that, you can go if you want to. Now then, I've talked on and on about multiples. Multiples are the times tables carrying on and on and on and on. So the multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44, 48, but also 52, 56, 60, 64. Why did I start this? Now I've got to do it in my head. 64, 68, 72, 76, 80, 84, 88. They carry on and on and on and on. And I could sit here for the rest of my life just carrying on, counting in fours. They would all be multiples of 4. They are the times tables carrying on and on and on and on. Okay. So I don't need to say multiples again. Those are the multiples. So if I ask you to write down 5 multiples of 6, then you just need to look down there and give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those, okay? If I ask you to write down 5 multiples of 6, which are bigger than 40, then you need to look down the 6 times tables and say, right, 42 is the first multiple of 6, which is bigger than 40. So I'm going to start there. 42, 48, 54, 60, 66, and 72. Okay, so some of your questions today say something like that. Okay, now then, factors. What are factors? Factors are numbers which will divide into a bigger number exactly. Okay, exactly. So let's have a look at the factors of 12. Okay, so I'm going to try and arrange 12 into different arrays. Okay, so there's 12. I'm going to start off seeing if it'll arrange into one row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Of course it will. I keep telling you not to forget that every number has a factor which is itself and 1. So 1 and 12 are factors of 12 because I can make an array that is 1 counter deep and 12 counters long because 1 times 12 makes 12. Okay, so 1 and 12 are factors of 12. I know it sounds crazy, but 1 and the number itself always are. Okay, let's try putting it into twos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Beautiful. It will go into 2. I can put it into 2s. There are my groups of 2. So 2 is a factor of 12. Beautiful. Okay. I think I've done my 2 the wrong way around, haven't I? That's because when I look at the screen, I'm seeing everything the wrong way around. So I'm sorry about that. And you can see clearly that it will go into 6 as well, because I've got 2 rows of 6. So 2 times 6 makes 12. So 2 and 6 are both factors of 12. I can arrange 12 counters into 2 rows of 6, and there are none left over. Okay, that's the important thing, none left over. Let's try 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Perfect. Okay, it's made rows of 3, columns of 3 with none left over. So yes, 3 is a factor of 12. How many rows of 3 is it made? 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of 3. So 4 times 3 makes 12. I can make it into rows of 4 with none left over and columns of 3 with none left over. So 3 and 4 are factors of 12. Okay, let's try 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, is 5 a factor of 12? Our rule is that we can divide 12 by 5 with none left over. Look what happened when I tried to put it into rows of 5. I've got 5 there and 5 there to make 10, but there are 2 left over. 5 is not a factor of 12 because there are some left over when I try to put it into groups of 5. So 5 is not a factor of 12. So far I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, not 5, 6. Try 7 if you want. If you think 7 will do, let's have a go. 1, 2, I'm going across this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, look. It made one group of 7, but then I had 5 left over. So 7 is not a factor of 12. Okay, you go on trying any others you like, that's fine. Okay, so factors of 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12 itself. Okay, now have a look on here. Okay, so to find factors another way is to find it in your multiplication square. Okay. So if I find 12 there, and I find 12 there, and I find 12 there, and 12 there, and I didn't go on to 12 here. If you've gone along to 12, which hopefully you did, you'll find 12 along here, but I didn't because I haven't got enough room. Okay, so just have a look. Which times table is 12 in? It's in your 1 times table, so 1 is a factor of 12. 2 is a factor of 12 because it's in the 2 times table. 3 is a factor of 12. There it is. There was 2. 2 was down. There, I've missed one out, haven't I? Sorry, there. So 2 is a factor of 12. There it is. 3 is a factor of 12. 4 is a factor of 12. Now look at this. 5. There's no 12 in the multiples of 5. So 5 is not a factor of 12. 6 is a factor of 12. There it is. There's 12. 7. Nope. There's no 12 in the 7s, the multiples of 7. There's no 12 in the multiples of 8. There's no 12s in the multiple of 9. And there would be if I'd done down to 12. Okay. So here again, we can see 1 times 12, so 1 and 12, 2, 3, 4, and 6 are factors of 12, okay? And that's what you need to do to find the factors. You're looking for the factors of 32. Circle all the 32s, all of them that are on here, all of them. Do it in pencil, then you can keep rubbing it out, okay? All the 32s that you can see, and then look which times table it's in, and that will be the factors, okay? So that's 2 ways of doing it. Drawing it out using counters that aren't real counters, but you know what I mean, or finding it in a multiplication square, a multiplication table. Okay, so I actually drew out my multiplication square and I photographed it so I can show you, because I wanted to show you the next thing, which was squares. Okay, so squares very quickly. We did squares before. I think squares are dead easy. I don't think squares are difficult at all. All a square is, so let's do 4 squared, all right? 4 squared is a little 2 up there, okay? I could write the word squared, but we never do. We never do. We always put a little 2 up there, and that means squared, okay? And the reason is because we have 4 across and 4 down in our grid, okay? And we finish off drawing all the counters in. So squared just means you go down and you go across, okay, to make your grid. It's got 2 dimensions, you call it. That's why. Or if it's easier to think about, and it probably is, it's 4 times 4. So we've got 2 of the number multiplied together. So that's why you've got the 2 there, okay? If you don't know 4 times 4, pop over and have a look. Let's change the colour of my pen. Don't do that with your teeth, very bad for your teeth. Okay, so 4 times 4 is 4, looking across here, 4 times 4 is 16 there, okay? So multiplication grid, 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, so another square. Let's do 5 squared. There we go. 5 squared is 5 times 5. Okay, 5 times 5 is, I'm sure you're screaming at the screen at me, 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, and if you carry on circling all the squares, let me show you what pattern you make. I did this before, and if you watch Blue Peter, this is one I made earlier. Here we go. Let me share my screen with you, and it is this one here. There's my beautiful number square, which I photographed whilst we were paused off. And here are the square numbers, and I drew them on and then rubbed them off. So here we are. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 3, hoping you can see this. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 4, we did this one together, 16. 5 times 5 is 25. 6 times 6 is 36. Can you see the pattern? Maths is full of beautiful patterns, and remarkably, there's a pattern. Look at that. It goes down in a diagonal line. Beautiful. Okay, and it would carry on down here. If I'd fitted 11 and 12 on there, it would have carried on down. Now, square numbers are so useful for you to learn. So please take time to circle all the square numbers, look at the square numbers, write all the square numbers down. If you don't know the square numbers, learn them. just like you learn your times tables, so that I would be able to say to you, write down the square of 7, and you would know straight away 49. Now, please do that. It's one of the things that I learned very early on, and it really does help, I promise you. Get someone at home to test you. Let them have your multiplication square in front of them, and get them to say to you, what's 8 squared? 64. So please learn those. Okay. And so that's gone through multiples, just times tables, carrying on. Factors, numbers which divide into another number with none left over, and squares. So if you're blue and you're doing the green, you've done it because you've drawn this out. And the blue sections, you can go off on and do your blue section now. Now, if you're purple, it's really not difficult. Okay, it's not much beyond this. Let me go off share and just show you the next bit. Okay, all I want you to do is to do a bit of cubing. Okay, now cubing is simply, if that's squared, 4 times 4 times 4. Got 2 4s multiplied together. Cubing is 3 4s multiplied by together. And you see there's a 4, there's a 4, and there's a 4. All right, so that's all that cubing is. You put the little 3 up there and you multiply 4 together 3 times. Now, the way to do that is to multiply these two together first. 4 times 4 is 16, and you know that because you've just learnt your squares. So you know 4 times 4 is 16. If not, you can have a peep at your multiplication square and then multiply it by the final 4. And if you're not sure what 16 times 4 is, then don't worry about that. We did multiplication like that before half term. So you can just split that up very quickly into 10 times 4 and 6 times 4 to make 40 and 24. 40 and 24 are 64, okay? And apart from the writing on the end there in purple, which is just one of those things, you know how to do that. You can do that in your head, I'm sure. Okay, so 16 times 4. So 4 cubed is 64. All right, so 4 cubed is 64. Remember, that's the equals, so that is that. That is exactly the same. Those two things are equal. 4 cubed is 64. All right. Okay, so all I ask you to do on the sheet is to write down all of the cube numbers up to 10 cubed, which is a very easy task. 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. It'll take you 2 minutes. Okay, so enjoy your maths today. It's a nice, easy start to the half term. And so hand me in some super neat, careful and accurate work, please. Thank you.